guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would go ahead and show you guys how to make hot chocolate bombs. They're actually really easy to make and you only need a few ingredients. So let me show you everything you're going to need. Of course, you're going to need some chocolate. And doing my research, I found that the best type of chocolate to use is either semi-sweet or dark chocolate. So I have two different types here. I have this Ghirardelli bar, a semi-sweet bar, and then I have the Ghirardelli dark chocolate, and these ones are melting wafers. And I actually really like these ones because it says there is no tempering needed, which for me, just trying to make it easier, I found that I really like these. You're also going to be needing some molds. So I've seen people use like little plastic ornament molds where they kind of break apart. I'll put a picture right here of what I'm talking about. The ones that I got on Amazon, and they are these silicone molds. So I got a pack of 5 of these for like $25. I will insert a picture of the ones that I purchased. And originally I was thinking I was gonna use these, but I think they might be a little too big. These are like, I think they said these are like 3 inches in diameter. So these are pretty big, but these ones are the ones that I'm using. So they fit and there's still a little bit of room. And in case you guys want to just buy one mold, this one that I have here is about just a little over 2.5 inches in diameter. So yeah, you are also going to need either a regular spoon or some paint brushes. And then you will need some hot chocolate powder and some marshmallows. I do want to mention that I have a few other things, some elixir powder and some peppermints, which I'm going to be using to decorate. So if you guys want to see how I made these amazing hot chocolate bombs, then just keep on watching. So the first thing you need to do is melt your chocolate. So I'm going to take some of these chocolate wafers and put them in this bowl, and I'm just following the directions on the bag. So I'm going to set my microwave at half power and microwave these for 30 seconds. And then after that, 15 seconds, and checking in between each 15 seconds and mixing until the chocolate is completely melted. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing, just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door. Lovely song. Okay, so there are 3 different methods that I found that you can use to get the chocolate in the molds. And the first method is just by dumping some chocolate into the mold, and then what you do is you pick it up and you kind of turn and tilt the mold to get the chocolate to kind of run along the edges of the mold, and then typically at the end you will dump out the excess chocolate. The second method is using a spoon. So what you do is you just, again, pour chocolate into the mold, and then you take your spoon and run it up along the edges to kind of distribute the chocolate around. I don't really like this method just because I find it's really hard to be consistent, and it tends to make the chocolate super thick and lumpy. And I just wasn't really liking the way it was making my chocolate, making it come out. The third method I liked the most, and that is by using a brush. I picked up these brushes from the Dollar General. They were pretty cheap, and all you do is you just dip it into the chocolate and you kind of run it up along and paint the inside of the mold. I just felt like this really gave me more control as to how thick the chocolate was being, and it made my spheres come out more consistent every time. So what I did was I decided to do 4 thin layers of chocolate for each mold, and that turned out to be perfect for me. So what I like to do is I like to take the chocolate and run it up the edges. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you put the chocolate all the way to the top of the mold. You don't want to accidentally leave a little space, because that is where you need the chocolate to come together to make the sphere. So yeah, just make sure you're running the chocolate all the way up the sides of the molds, and just try your best to make this as neat as you can and as consistent as you can. Just take your time and don't rush the process. So this is what the chocolate is looking like after the first layer. I am going to go ahead and put this in the freezer for 5 minutes, and then I will come back and do the second layer. Anytime you let your chocolate sit for any period of time, you want to make sure you are mixing it up before you go ahead and use it, just because, you know, everything settles and separates, and you just want to make sure that it's all mixed in well. So now I am going in with the second layer, and I decided to do this. I did this layer right after I took the chocolate out of the freezer, which later on I discovered was a bad thing to do, because the chocolate would start freezing onto my brush, and it was just making it harder to paint on. So I would recommend, and this is what I did when I made my second set, is to wait at least 5 to 10 minutes after you take the chocolate out of the freezer to start painting on your next layer. That just allows the chocolate to come down in temperature a little bit, and it prevents that chocolate from freezing onto your brush. Whoa, oh, oh. Da, 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 oh, oh. So this is how we're looking after the second layer, and again I am just going to go ahead and stick this in the freezer for 5 minutes to let that chocolate set. And while I am waiting for that, I am running out of chocolate, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing I did earlier and just warm up some more chocolate. So I'm gonna put some more wafers in and just throw it in the microwave, and just get my chocolate ready for the next layer. 'Cause I missed you, so I'm letting go of everything but you. After 5 minutes in the freezer, this is what we are looking like. So now we're gonna go ahead and work on the third layer. Again, just doing the exact same thing. I am gonna brush on a thin layer, and then after this layer, I'll put it in the freezer again for 5 minutes and then do the last layer. And I will be back to show you guys what it looks like after the fourth layer. Isn't this how it's supposed to be? Making our Christmas memories. So now all of the 4 layers are completely done, and I am gonna go ahead and pop these chocolates out of the mold. And this is really easy to do with a silicone mold. I just kind of fold it down a little bit and the chocolate pops out nice and easy. So this is what half of the sphere looks like. I did notice though that because I had washed the silicone mold in the dishwasher, it had a little bit of water spots, and those water spots transferred onto my chocolate. So if you are going to be using a silicone mold, I recommend that if there are water spots that you wipe them away, just so your chocolate spheres can be as nice and smooth and shiny as possible. Another thing I did notice was a few of my spheres were a little transparent in some areas, but it didn't really affect the way they turned out. So if you have a few areas that are like this, just know it is okay. Now we are going to work on assembling our spheres. So the first thing you need is a pan that has a completely flat bottom, and this was the only one that I had. It's a little bit of a pot, but it still worked out. So what I did was I heated my pan up on the stove for probably 30 to 45 seconds, and I did it on the lowest setting just to get the pan warm but not super hot. So you want it to be warm to the point where you can touch it with your hand. And then I take the first half of the sphere and I put it in there just to kind of melt the edges. I did notice with my glove it was super hard to pull that chocolate off the pan, so I decided to take the glove off of the hand that I was using to melt the chocolate. And next you want to start filling the first half of the sphere. So you can put 1 to 2 tablespoons of your hot chocolate powder. I put about 1.5 tablespoons in these, and then marshmallows. You can also put sprinkles in there. You can put peppermint, which I'm gonna do for a few of mine. And you can just be as creative as you want and just put whatever you think would work for your hot chocolate. So now I am going to go ahead and take the second half of the sphere and just put it in my pot to melt the edges a little bit, and then use that to glue the sphere together. As you can see with this one, it really didn't glue all the way, which is fine. We're gonna fix that later. And now we're gonna move on to the second one. I'm just gonna repeat the same process. Melt one half, fill it, melt the other half, put it together. And once I get the sphere put together, I will throw it in the refrigerator to help that chocolate set as quickly as possible. I should also note that I decided to change my glove from that latex glove to a fabric glove, just because I noticed with the other glove my body heat was still transferring to the chocolate through that glove. So I decided to use this fabric one, and it worked out perfectly. It kept my chocolate from getting a bunch of fingerprints on them. So I would recommend, while you are doing this, to use a fabric glove. And the hand that I don't have a glove on, I am making sure to only touch the chocolate as little as possible. You want to work quickly with it because your body heat transfers to the chocolate super fast, and before you know it, you're gonna have a ball with a bunch of fingerprints on it, and that just does not look very attractive. So again, just work quickly, and if you can, try using a fabric glove on the hand that's going to be in contact with the chocolate the longest. The last thing I'm going to do before I go ahead and start decorating is I just took a lighter, and along the edges of the balls, because I want them to be sealed really well, I just take the lighter and run it along the line and just run my finger down to kind of seal it. There were times where I did this and it didn't seal completely. You never want to run the lighter down the line more than once. So, I mean, I hope that makes sense, but if I run it down and it doesn't completely seal, I will just leave it. I put it back in the fridge for a little bit, and then I take it out and I do it again. You don't want to continuously add that flame because it can actually create a hole and can just make it worse for you. So run it along once, and then if it's not sealed, put it in the fridge, come back again, and then do it a second time, and you should be good from there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start decorating my hot cocoa bombs, and I am just gonna be using some luster dust, which is pretty much edible glitter, some more melted chocolate, and some peppermint to decorate these balls. You can really do it however you want, but yeah, this is what I had on hand, so this is what I am using. I hope you guys enjoy watching me decorate these hot cocoa bombs. so now I'm gonna go ahead and package these up. I found a bunch of cute things at the Dollar Tree, and that is what I'm going to use to package them up. You can really do this however you want, but yeah, I'm just going to show you how I got these ready and give you an idea of how you can package these if you are planning on giving them for gifts like I am.
Merry, Merry Christmas. I wish you a Merry Christmas. A Merry, Merry Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you. Let's have a joyful night. We'll keep a candle burning to light the way for the reindeers. Give Santa Claus a hand. Oh, I really cannot get enough of my Merry Christmas crush. Tonight I want to celebrate. Tonight I want to dream away. See the shimmer in the eyes of every happy Christmas child. Merry, Merry Christmas.
Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this gives you a little bit of courage to try and do this yourselves. It is actually really easy. I mean, they might not look pretty the first couple of times you do it, but you really just have to practice, and eventually they will come out okay. And honestly, in the end, I don't think it really matters how they look as long as they work and they taste good. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, comment down below, like this video, and share it with anybody who you think might find it helpful. I love you guys so much, and I will plan on seeing you in my next video. Bye!
It's cold outside, but the fire keeps us warm. We can spend the night underneath the mistletoe. And I've gotten you a present that I put under the tree. Tomorrow